Hey Brick fans, ever wondered how Lego cities keep rolling without a hitch? It's not just good cars and awesome trucks, it's the hidden heroes, the fuel stations that keep everything humming along. And today, we're not just reviewing one set, we're taking a super fuel trip back to 1978, a year of disco, arcade games, and some truly iconic Lego shell sets. Back then, pulling into a petrol station or a fuel station was an experience that, with that familiar ding ding as you drove in, a friendly attendant ready to help, and that satisfying ka-chick, ka-chick, ka-chick as the fuel dial spun and emptied your wallet. Lego was churning out some fantastic Shell branded goodies, and I've got a trio of these vintage sets ready for you here today. We're diving into 601 Shell filling station, the 604 Shell service car, and the mighty 671 Shell fuel tanker. So grab a chocolate bar and a frosty can of Tab because we're about to browse the coolest Shell Lego sets in town. I'm Lord Paul, and this is Lord Paul's Bricks. Hello and welcome back to the most efficient fuel production facility on YouTube. That's right, this is Lord Paul's Bricks. What's keeping our Lego world fueled up today? These absolute classics, of course. Now, these sets were originally sold separately, which was awesome if you couldn't get your hands on the larger 377 Shell fuel station that I reviewed a little while back. If you missed that one, hit the link in the description, which is below this video. But before we dive deeper into these vintage gems, if you're enjoying this nostalgic journey, please make sure you hit the like button below. It's like premium fuel for the channel and it really helps us grow. If you want to be the first to know when the next classic set pulls into the station, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. Of course, I always love hearing from you, so drop your thoughts, your memories, your questions in the comments below. Did you know that the very first Shell branded Lego set, Set 325, rolled out all the way back in 1966? It was a cool mix of classic bricks and a die-cast HO scale model truck. Talk about serious old school. Then, in 1970, we got our first all-brick Shell tanker, a tiny 43-piece wonder with truly vintage branding. Throughout the early 70s, Lego gave us plenty of fuel stations, transport trucks, and even a tanker wagon for trains. So, they even made a fuel refinery, set number 376, in 1976, which I think was exceptionally cool. But during my research for this video, I came across this set. It's set 373 from 1977, and it's called the Offshore Rig with Fuel Tanker. I really like this set and the concept of the set. It's complete with a tanker ship, a helicopter, as well as the rig, and this would have been a great playable set. But all of that brings us to 1978, the year that our stars here today were born, alongside the bigger 377 Shell fuel station. Seriously, go watch that review next. And you may remember that 1978 was also the first year that we saw the classic, what has become now iconic, minifigure that we have all grown to love over the last 47 years. Now, these three sets, I've had them all since they were new, gifted to me as gifts for Christmas, birthday, something or other, I can't remember. I've kept them and their instructions safe through all of these years, but sadly, the boxes have vanished into the great Lego box abyss, never to be seen again. But first up, we have the trim and terrific 601 Shell filling station. It's a lean, mean, 9-piece machine with one great, fantastic minifigure. You get a Shell worker, a single fuel pump on a classic 4x10 base plate, and a super cool, ornate Shell pylon sign. I've got the original instructions here, and it shows a very, very simple 3-step build. The back even shows off some other classic town sets from the era, like the 606 Medics car, which thankfully I do have. I've shown this image on my previous reviews, and when I start to look at the town layout, it really is starting to look like a checklist for my reviews at the moment. But next up, we have 604, simply known as Shell Car or Shell Service Car. I imagine this guy is the Shell equivalent of a troubleshooter, making sure everything's running smoothly across all the different Shell service stations. This little beauty is 14 pieces and comes with one minifigure. The stickers are on the set, but they are intact. But they've seen better days, but I have cleaned them up a little bit, getting them ready for today's review. The instructions are a quick 6 steps with that awesome town layout on the back. A little fun fact here though, set 600, the police car, shown here is often considered the very first set to feature the all-new minifigure. We'll hopefully do a deep dive of that set in the near future. And finally, to complete our Shell infrastructure trio, the robust 671 Shell fuel tanker. This is a fantastic fuel transporter with a mighty 63 pieces and one very, very capable minifigure. Our 7-step instructions are laid out just like the others, and the back of the page is showing off cool companion vehicles like 602 Fire Chief and 625 Tractor Digger. On these instructions, you can even spot the classic road plates that were available back then. All right, so it's enough talk about the sets. It's time for a much closer look at the heart of these sets, the minifigures. All right, let's talk about let's call them now our Shell squad today, shall we? So here's the thing about the minifigures in these 3 sets. They're actually all identical. While I get that they have Shell, they're all Shell employees, I've got to say, it feels a little bit like Lego took the easy route here. Couldn't they have given us a slightly different hat or something different about these minifigures, just to create a little bit of variety of some sort? They all sport a white torso with a white Shell branded sticker on that torso, plain blue legs, and a classic red cap. These are the guys here. They definitely look like they work for the same company, but as we've seen in other vintage sets, a little differentiation really wouldn't have hurt. But at least they're still charming in their simplicity, and maybe you could build up a Shell employee battle pack with these guys. So that's a very, very quick minifigure analysis, particularly when it's for 3 sets. But let's move on to the real treasure hunt that I know all of you do come for, and that's the parts analysis. So let's see what we can find and see if there's any variation in those parts there. All right, brick enthusiasts, prepare yourselves. We're diving into the part of my reviews that everyone secretly, or maybe not so secretly, comes for. A detailed analysis of the unique, rare, and long discontinued parts lurking within these 3 classic sets. This is where the magic, I'd like to think, really starts to happen. So starting with set 601, the fuel filling station, as with the others, it comes with its own unique sticker sheet. For this set, the stickers adorn the fuel pumps and the worker's torso. The full disclosure though, one sticker on my copy went on a 45-year vacation and never really returned. But what I've done is I've been able to very carefully recreate it for you, which is what you'll see today. Our first real rare find in this set is this beauty though, and this is called the cantilevered curved sign with Shell logo pattern. This piece only appeared in 2 sets, this one and an even earlier fuel station, which was set 690 from 1974. So not so unique, but you could say it's very, very, very exclusive. The fuel pump itself is made of 6 pieces, and 3 of them are long discontinued. First is the filler hose. It's a thick string cord, 2 millimeters thick and 9.5 centimeters long. While the pump design is similar to the one in 377 fuel station, the cord is actually a little bit longer than what was provided in that set, and I don't know why. The cord was used in 20 sets, and came in both black and white. It was non-shell related sets for the white one. The white cord like this one was around from 1973 to 1980, while the black cord had an even shorter run from only 1978 through to 1979. Next up, on Bricklink, this piece is called, I don't have one of these, so I do, the modified 1x2 brick with digger bucket arm holder, and it has a rather clever use with these fuel pumps. It is actually the perfect return point for the fuel hose. The piece itself dates all the way back to 1971 and was used in 50 sets up until 1999. I have an image here of how it works as the bucket arm holder, so you can put it into some reference. The hose attaches to the pump using the lower part of the 1x4 brick. The 1x2 brick with hinge attachment. This is where the stickers go on the pump. And this is a transparent clear 2x3 piece. While the standard 2x3 brick has been around forever, from the mid-50s through to today, this older style transparent clear version only appeared in 37 sets up until 1978, but it did have one random appearance in one set in 1986. But all of these parts come together to create a really authentic early fuel pump. So moving on to set 604, the Shell service car, the unique sticker sheet primarily features Shell logos, a handy extra few logos actually, and a sticker for the employee's torso. Probably the real star in terms of parts, which I haven't really talked about in any of my previous reviews, is this 2x4 vehicle mudguard with smooth arches on the top. And this set's got two of them in yellow. This piece graced only 81 sets from 1978, but all the way through to 2004. And the rest of the pieces in that set are pretty simple and are still being produced today. Now, the big brother of the trio is 671, the Shell fuel tanker. Its unique sticker sheet is packed with Shell logos, including some larger ones with the logo and also the Shell word mark, which is used on the side of the tanker trailer. It also features that same black cord string we saw in the filling station and the same mudguard piece as the Shell car. The black cord string is ingeniously attached to the underside of the tanker by poking it through this 1x1, I don't have one to show you, so I do have one to show you, 1x1 window piece. This part was introduced in 1969 and was used in 31 sets all the way up until 1981. To keep the truck looking neat and tidy while on the move, the string cord actually tucks behind two bright yellow 1x2x2 shutters. These shutters, found in various colours, were found in 97 sets from 1973 through to 2003. They're attached using the modified 1x1x2 bricks with shutter holder, which were used in 170 sets from 1973 all the way through to 2010. And I think their use here is actually pretty clever when you see the finished truck. If you've watched some of my earlier reviews, you know I like to talk about this next piece, and that's this 1x4 brick with chrome headlight and grille pattern. When paired with this yellow brick and pattern, it appeared in only 15 sets from 1970 and finished in 1980. And really, for my test of time mentioned today, check out this 2x4x2 windscreen used for the truck cabin. This amazing piece first appeared in 1976 and is still being used today and has been in over 570 sets. And I think that's a pretty incredible achievement. I sometimes wonder if the original designers of these parts ever imagined that their creations would last virtually unchanged for over 50 years. I think someone at Lego should definitely get a Lifetime Achievement Award for some of these long-lasting designs. But enough talk about parts. I think it is time we built these Shell service beauties. So we're kicking off our build session in the same order we've been reviewing, with the tiny but significant 601 shell filling station. With a grand total of just 3 steps and 9 pieces to complete, the build is really fast. The trickiest part is carefully attaching the cool pylon sign to the plate without snapping it. They are quite fragile. But here we are, we're all done and dusted. So next up, our shell service car. This is marginally more complex. It's got a few more pieces in it, but still super easy, and it really does come together in quite the flash. But I think our minifigure might be looking for the car door. But here we have it, our first 2 sets completed. Now for the largest of our trio, the 671 fuel tanker. A quick note on the tanker. The main body of the tanker part is already partially assembled because those shell stickers cover multiple bricks, and keeping them together, keeping that assembly together, just helps protect my very precious stickers on this truck. So I'll build the rest of the truck and then we'll connect it all up. So it's pretty straightforward. Truck and trailer connected, and just like that, we have our 3 fantastic vintage shell sets completed. So let's take a look at each of these masterpieces, starting with the tanker truck. Like many vehicles from this era, our minifigure can't actually sit inside and drive it, but it looks absolutely perfect posed as it's meant to be, which is reloading a fuel station. Our shell service car is wonderfully compact and perfectly matches the corporate colours of the other shell sets, creating a nice uniform look across all of these sets. The shell filling station looks great. It uses the same fuel pump as the larger 377 fuel station, and our diligent minifigure is ready to serve the next customer with a smile. What's really cool is seeing these sets in conjunction with the previously mentioned 377 Shell fuel station. Look how perfectly they round out a classic Shell Lego town, creating a vibrant hub of the Shell branding. Plenty of Shell employees to serve customers and keep that vital fuel supply going. These are genuinely handy sets for your classic town, but now it's time for the review score. All right, for the moment of truth. My usual disclaimer is that I tried to review these sets in the context of when they were first released, which for these guys, remember, was way back in 1978. Starting with 601 Shell filling station, for part selection, it's a 3 out of 5, as it's a basic selection of bricks, but that brilliant pylon sign really boosts its score. Playability is 2.5 out of 5. On its own, it's a bit lonely. It really needs a vehicle and a customer for it to really shine. The minifigure of the set earns a 4 out of 5. The shell worker perfectly serves the set that its function needs to be. It's a small set with few pieces, so building enjoyment is a 2.5 out of 5. It's a small set with few pieces, and it's far from exciting build. That gives it a 12 out of 20 for this filling station. For the Shell service car, part selection only earns a 2.5 out of 5. These early vehicles were super basic, and the pieces were found in tons of other sets, so you could very easily create a fleet of cars. Playability is a 3 out of 5. It's got potential, but the fact that you can't seat the minifigure inside it really holds it back. It's best used as part with the other sets. The minifigure earns another 4 out of 5. Like the previous set, the shell worker is spot on for the vehicle's purpose. Building enjoyment again, 2.5 out of 5. It's really basic vehicle to build and nothing super groundbreaking here. So the Shell service car rolls in with another 12 out of 20. For the big boy, the 671 Shell fuel tanker, as it has a higher piece count, let's see how if that translates into a better score. For part selection, it's a 4 out of 5. The parts for the hose attachment and that brilliant function are well designed and I think quite inventive for the era, given Lego's brick palette at the time. The playability is 3.5 out of 5. It definitely has an obvious function, and the fuel loading mechanism is good. It's only let down by not being able to seat the driver in the truck. The worker does his job well, and just like his colleagues in the other sets, he gets a 4 out of 5. Building enjoyment is 3.5 out of 5. It's still pretty basic, but I really like how the underside of the tanker trailer is put together, and I think there's some clever design there. So the 671 Shell fuel tanker earns a respectable 15 out of 20. So putting it together gives us 12 for the filling station, 12 for the service car, 15 for the tanker, and not bad for what's nudging 50-year-old Danish ABS plastic. Lego's relationship with Shell goes way back. They were pumping out some Shell-branded sets as far back as 1966, all the way through to the late 1980s, with some promotional and racing sets even showing some Shell branding popping up in the 90s and 2000s. And Shell wasn't the only fuel brand Lego partnered with. They also used Exxon, mainly in the United States, and Esso for some other countries in some sets. My understanding for these co-branded sets is that they evolved from a time when fuel stations would give away cool promotional gifts. Over time, that partnership between Lego and these fuel brands, it did grow. But in 1992, something really big happened, and that was Octane came on the scene. This became Lego's own generic fuel brand, which eventually grew into that massive, all-encompassing corporation controlled by, well, you know, Lord Business. And trust me, Lord Business, no relation to me, Lord Paul, I promise. So, what did you think of my deep dive into some vintage Lego Shell sets? Let me know by giving the video a like. I've got tons more classic reviews in the pipeline, so make sure you subscribe and hit that bell icon so you know exactly when they land. If you've got questions, feedback, I'd absolutely love to hear from you in the comments. Did you have these sets back in 1978? Do you have a sweet collection of vintage Shell sets? Do you have some sets that predate these ones? Does my review make you want to hunt them down and add some to your classic Lego town? But until next time, keep on building and keep expanding your vintage Lego town, because I'm Lord Paul and this is Lord Paul's Bricks, and bye for now.